of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
The legislative authority in Ashville to impact the lives, not only the business but the schools, with such a weighty responsibility. It is wholly appropriate to petition for help from a higher authority in this station, reflecting and discussing our duties. Council members, Mr. Simon. Take a seat. Present. Colton, excuse. Motion to approve the minutes to 16, 25.
Two questions. Page 1, for something in the report, I think, yes, instead of calling the report as 11, I think he was 11, and the new 12. And then, page 2, Joe Brown, last contingency, discussed the gas distribution rate, which is 31 cents lower than the summer gas rate, and I believe what he said was that because the gas service fee is 32.5 cents, and the aggregation was 31 cents, so we saved 1 cent in cash, not 31 cents. Therefore,
Motion to approve the change.
About my tree. And I think I speak for the other people whose trees have been cut down for the sewer line. I was on vacation, my first day on vacation, and I get a phone call from the lady that's taking care of my dog in my house. Now it's 7:30 in the morning here. She said, the tree guys are here cutting down your tree. And I said, what tree guys and what tree are they cutting down? Well, they cut down the youngest tree I have right in front of my house. No one called me, no one left a voicemail, no one emailed me, no one texted me, no one told me anything about cutting my tree down. I lived there for 44 years and I watched that tree grow up. And I love trees. And to hear that they cut that tree down without even talking to me, like it was nothing. Now, they've done it to my neighbors too, and I know it bothers them too, but now I don't have any shade in the front of my house. My doorknob is hot when I get up in the morning and open it up because I have no more shade. Once a year, my family gets together for the fireworks and we sit outside under the shade of my tree and we watch the fireworks later on at night. Didn't happen this year because all I have is a 4-foot stump in front of my house. What I want to know is, why my tree? Who made the decision that my tree had to be cut down and why? And why wasn't I notified that it was going to be cut down? Also, I want to know, I was told, and what bothers me is everything is hearsay, nothing's in writing. And you hear it from this person, you hear it from another person, and this is why it's being done. But who decided that the tree had to come down? Where is it in writing that that tree had to come down? And if it's for sidewalks, which is what I've heard, it's because they're going to put sidewalks in, when are those sidewalks going to be put in? That tree's been cut down almost a month already. Am I going to be still looking at the stump of that tree in January? I have nothing that tells me that the sidewalks will be put in by such and such a time. Also, will my tree be replaced? Is the village going to come back with a tree for me? I think that would only be fair, especially since they're the ones that decided, or whoever's in charge of cutting trees down decided to cut the tree down. I would very much like my tree replaced. Are they going to cut the rest of that stump down? Are they going to grind that stump out of there? Or what are they going to do with it? I don't know that either.
I know Ralph's gonna do that because they're gonna grind it out to the sidewalks.
When might they be grinding it out?
That I don't know, do you know anything, Rick?
All I know is Daryl Ward and Brookline was the ones that did the walkthrough of the construction area and marked the trees that was going to be in the way.
In the way of what? I mean,
The way of the sidewalk.
The sidewalks, the new storm drains, the sewer drains, the whole works.
okay, so that every tree got done that has been cut down, and I understand there's 7 of them that have been cut down, then they all meet that same criteria for being cut down?
From what I understand, yes, if the tree's in the way of a sidewalk, or if it's doing any damage to a curb, then they're to come out.
If it's in the easement. If it's in the easement.
Yeah, if it's in any Ashville easement, it can come out.
I understand the easement. I understand, I'm not saying that I don't want the sewer system changed. I just think that communication was terrible. You know, and just to cut a tree down because it's in the way. The animals lost their homes, the birds lost their homes, the squirrels lost their homes. I lost the shade. My neighbor had his catalpa tree cut down and it shaded his whole house. That's gone. He wasn't notified either. So I think it's a sad state of affairs. So, I'd like to know somehow, in writing, why my tree was cut down. I would like that courtesy of someone to tell me that. And if we're gonna get sidewalks, and I'm told that's a given, that's not gonna be reneged on, when?
Or it'll be when they get up to that end and they have to put water lines in, they have to put sewers in, they'll have to all that before, the sidewalks will probably be the last thing.
But why do they cut the trees down right away? That's one of the main reasons that we cut the trees down is because the sidewalks are coming in. Well, why cut the trees down 1, 2, 3 months before the sidewalks are gonna be put in?
Just like I said, I found out the trees are getting cut down when the police come to notify me that the sheriff called on.
Well, who told Ralph to cut the trees down? Where did he get his permission to cut the trees down?
Probably been the village administrator.
Yeah,
Because he's over there, because,
He said he wasn't gonna be here tonight. I think he was afraid to come.
yeah, he's for, but, because he's in charge of utilities and streets.
If I can help a little bit, I know that Ralph was called in to cut the trees down because they had to have access. It was easier to cut them all down and cheaper to cut them all down at once rather than coming back every 2 months and doing it that way. And I believe that's why they cut them down the way they did.
So to save money,
Well, yeah.
cut them down.
I don't have anything here. My name's Kyle Sweeterman. I work for American Structure Point. We're actually interested in looking at some of the design of the new sewer work when it comes out here in the future. And I've spoken with Bert from an outsider's perspective, but one thing I can contribute as far as this is concerned is one of the reasons they may cut the trees down earlier in the process is as you're putting utilities in and you're trenching along an existing tree and you have to cut through the roots or whatnot, if you don't have that tree cut down, then there's a potential of that tree falling after you come through with it. So because they have to put water, sewer, and sanitary all along the corridor, usually they'll go through and if they know the tree has to come down anyway, they'll do that first, because then as they come back through with the rest of the utilities, it's not at risk of falling down. So I don't want to step on anyone's toes or anyone else here, but
No, let's go with that.
we do see that as a course of a construction project, that they usually do that at the beginning, and it's just because of safety reasons as well sometimes. I'm not sure if that's the case, but it could have been.
I understand that, but why wasn't that communicated to me, why they're cutting the tree down, when they're cutting the tree down? How simple is that?
That's
Common courtesy.
a mistake right there.
Yeah.
That it wasn't. That's absolutely a mistake.
It should have been.
Right, but you can't change it.
No, we can't,
That's
no,
the thing.
we can't,
You
man. We
change it.
can't. And we found out when y'all found out that it's, that, you know, because that's through utilities and through, you look up and trees are coming down. Yes, you should have been communicated with. Absolutely. Should have been a letter or something that said, listen, your tree has been marked for removal.
Correct.
That's simple
I
as that.
agree.
Your tree has been marked for removal and give you the reasons why and tell you when they feel it's not going to be coming down. That's the simple courtesy that you deserve, and you didn't get it.
So can I also go home knowing that you're going to replace that tree?
They are replaced.
Yes.
Trees that they cut down.
Everybody agrees. You all
Yeah,
heard that they're going to
they are.
replace my tree.
Road's already out there.
We do.
It's on
We have a
camera.
list.
It's on camera.
I'll get you a copy of the list. You can pick it, you know, there's, what, 7 or 8 trees on it?
Yeah.
I've had 9 trees on my property, and I moved in, and I'm down to 4
Yeah.
or other.
The ash borer killed a lot of them.
I
We
know.
lost all the ones up my street. It was terrible.
Yeah, I know. So Asheville is known for its trees. I was studying the value of a tree, just the minor maple, which are on the lower end of trees. Just a small one, mine was at least 50 years old, was $25,000 that it contributed to the atmosphere, to the community, to whatever. So it was not just a little cutting of a tree, it affected a lot of people, especially me. Didn't want to spend my vacation wondering about my tree. So thank you. May I leave?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Appreciate you coming in.
The festival went off without any major glitches. Of course, we had like 2 days of heavy rain, caused some issues, but we got that taken care of. Harrison Fire approached me and they would like to have a couple of them old police cruisers out back. I talked to Ryan and I talked to Bert and I had no problem with it. If you would sign a couple titles over to them, they want to use them for practice.
Practice for what?
For what?
Whatever you guys, whatever.
They're cutting them up.
I don't think that, just us.
They got something
Just
going on in
something
September.
Yeah. I'll call Sean and tell him he needs to borrow.
We don't need them for anything, like they're,
They're junk.
We were going to put them on the auction.
They're not serviceable, drivable, or that nonsense.
I would.
so that's, council want to make that a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to donate whatever they've asked for, as long as it's approved by the village administrator and the police department.
Second?
Vote? Yes.
I'll let them know tomorrow.
All right, wait till next.
I got nothing.
I just got you guys a report, and the numbers are looking really good from the letters that are being mailed out. Next will be subpoenas and the final notices for residents in town. But it's generated some good revenue.
Anything else? There's no legislation. New business, approval of the 2026 taxes budget.
I'll make a motion that we approve the 2026 tax budget.
Second.
Yes.
We got three or four more things and we can do the executive session. Okay, committee reports.
Park committee met this evening before the full meeting, and it's a recommendation out of the park committee, first of all, that we install lights at the pickleball basketball court, and the estimate is $27,000, and it will be done. The community club is doing some electrical work at the same time. These are impact money, so request approval from council for use of impact fees for installing lights on the pickleball and basketball court. And the intention is, we'll post a sign there that the lights go off at 10 p.m. each night to give a little extra time for the dusk to dawn. The second recommendation that the park committee is requesting is that we build a shelter house on the west side park at Station in Lexington. It's 30 by 42. And equip that, it's it'll have a cement floor and approximately 4 picnic tables and 3 benches. And we're requesting approval for impact funds and $50,000 for that to get started on development of that small west side park. So I will make a motion for both of those items on behalf of the park committee. So I need a second.
Second. Oh,
Yes.
yes, it is. Is that because we'll need the forms for,
Technically, the village administrator is supposed to submit the forms for approval.
can you have it for next meeting, yo? We'll mention a couple things. We talked about a lot of it. There's been a couple cars that have been about run over with these structures there. I think any further phases, we need to come up with a boneyard to keep them out of the intersection, and they're flooding because water's getting down. I had all kind of water in front of my house because they set them right up against the curb. The water can't flow, so and I know the driver's vision because Joe about got to run over backing out the driveway because it sits right there in the driveway. So I think we just need to tell them from now on the next phase is they need either where they're going to store for the water plant, the park or something to put them there, and they're just going to have to transport them because it's blocking views, blocking cars. So. And the road paving in Randolph Street, the rebuild for Randolph Street ought to start next week around 12. So, and then I've heard some compliments on Shannon for the potholes that he did fill around right around Harrison Street and stuff. And if money's available, I would check with April, maybe have him continue in some of the deeper ones, but. And my take on the trees is after the complaints I got, we just need to, if they don't want them cut down, that's fine. But if we're putting in a sidewalk and it damages the sidewalk, then the property owner ought to be responsible. So, because I mean, I took calls and complaints on trees coming down.
So are we supposedly going to replace those trees? I don't know that it's possible with trees the roots don't go out and damage future walls.
Well, they're going to have to put them on the other side of the sidewalk. They're not going to be able to put them in the right of way.
Okay.
So Bert said they'd have to be in the.
Actually, on that property.
April, give me that. And any final comments, Chad? No. Robert?
I don't think so.
Nope. I'm going to do a motion for executive session.
This for personal matters.
What's that?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I make a motion to go into executive session pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22 G1 to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual, unless the public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual requests a public hearing. Motion for executive session.
Second.
Second.
Yeah.
Vote.
Yes.
I'm gonna go ahead and, bring the meeting back to order and, discuss what come out of the executive session. Like a motion, a second from council, to appoint Brian Klein, the police chief.
Make motion?
Second,
Second.
vote, Chad,
Yes.
Roger, yes, Randy,
Yes.
Dave, yep, Matt,
Yep.
congratulations, Brian.
Say that.
Motion adjourned?
Second.
Yep.
Vote?
Yep. Yes.